And it is now time for the high-level session of the day, again under the theme, Education for a Fair and Equitable Society for a Sustainable Future. Moderated by the president of the Turkish Marif Foundation, Professor Dr. Birol Akgün. I'd now like to introduce the esteemed panelists, the Minister of Education and Science of North Macedonia, Her Excellency Professor Vesna Janevska, Minister of Primary and Secondary Education of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Abdul Muti, and the Minister of Education of the Republic of Liberia, Her Excellency Dr. Jarso Mali Jala. The floor is yours, Professor Akgün.
Come to the first high-level panel today in our Istanbul Education Summit. I would like to welcome you all for the 2024 Istanbul Education Summit. Well, now Istanbul Education Summit has already been recognized by international educators, all the academia, practitioner, policy makers, as the leading as the leading international program, international platform for discussing the recent trends in education and some very critical issues of development in educational arena. This year we decided to discuss education for a fair and equitable society for a sustainable future. Just a few words starting with this panel of discussion, especially with the participation of the very distinguished guests from different geographies of the world by the practitioners, but the speakers, of course, are very much really distinguished this year with their not only as being the ministers of for education, but also they are academics, so they have engaging in the issues of education through different ways of intellectually and addressing the current issues in education. And within this context, of course, discussing creating a sustainable future by creating a fair and equitable society is a key discussion in all over the world today, not only in developing societies, but also in very advanced societies in the Western countries as well. More, of course, is conflicts, war, immigrations, all kinds of social issues also bring up the new additional issues on the agenda of creating how a fair and sustainable society that we can create. So from our perspective, education stands as the most powerful tool. We have to shape a fair and equitable society for a sustainable future. As the Marif Foundation, in our curriculum, our discussion and methodology, we always emphasize these aspects, as has been also emphasized by international organizations like the UN, UNDP, and many other socio-economic programs in all countries, and even the discussion on the idea of fairness in this world of the global world is also a very critical discussion among scholars as well. From this perspective, education is not just about acquiring a knowledge. It is about fostering understanding, empathy, and critical thinking. By equipping individuals with skills and awareness to address the complex challenges we face today, we empower them to create paths to change. Education helps break the cycle of poverty, promotes social equality, and ensures that every person, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to contribute to society. That's why we have to emphasize in our curriculum that through education, we have to nurture creating a responsible citizens for all the world who understand the interconnectedness of social, environmental, and sustainability in today's world. And within this perspective, some basic questions that we will discuss today with our distinguished guests, panelists. Basically, what are the most pressing barriers to achieve educational equity, and how can policymakers and educators as key players collaborate to overcome these challenges? Second, how can sustainability be incorporated into the education without overwhelming already limited infrastructure, schools, especially in unserved communities for the disadvantaged people of the world? Third, in which way can schools contribute to sustainability by fostering environmental awareness and responsible practices among students? Fourth, how can education system be restructured to ensure that equity and sustainability are core principles at all levels of schooling? Now, it is my honor to introduce our first speaker, Minister of Education and Science of North Macedonia, Professor Vesna Javansky. I would like to say welcome to her and give the floor to her for addressing the discussed issue for our panel today. Please, Ms. Vesna Javansky, the floor is yours.
Dear President of the Republic of Turkey, Mr. Tayyip Recep Erdogan. Dear President of the Marif Foundation, Mr. Birol Akgun. Distinguished participants of the summit, representatives of other countries, ladies and gentlemen. We could use hundreds of well-known messages and wise thoughts from prominent personalities from all over the world in support to the thesis that education is the most important pillar of every society and therefore the basis of global development. And in my country, we have no dilemma on the matter. Let me emphasize that we are a small country endowed with unbelievable natural beauties. However, we don't have a source of something tangible that we can export in abundance or be recognized for it that would generate high national revenues and hence make us an influence factor in our region or even wider. Therefore, we are faced with the exigency to invest in the knowledge of the citizens, in the creativity, innovation, and to enable each individual to reach their full potential. Hence, I strongly believe that every personal success is part of a mosaic that means national progress. I'm part of a relatively new government in Macedonia, which came to office mere 5 months ago, with a strong will and energy for change that will ensure a better and more inclusive education system. I believe you will agree, and it is clear that I am talking about two processes that are running in parallel as government and as Ministry of Education and Science at the moment. One is the commitment to better quality of our education, and the other is the commitment to a comprehensive education system. The quality of education in Macedonia needs a lot of improvement. We are not satisfied with the achievements of our students in international tests like PISA and TIMSS. We probably never will be, no matter how much we progress with knowledge, and personally, I hope that we hold on to that feeling as it will motivate us even further to invest more in each successful generation. I have a lot to say about the changes in the education in our country, but allow me to highlight briefly the goals we are aiming at. providing better quality of curricula and textbooks that integrate global innovations such as artificial intelligence and provide contents that strengthen digital and green skills. Improving the educational infrastructure to a process of optimization that will ensure the rational use of material and human resources, and by investing in improving the conditions in the facilities that will be used in the future, like procurement of new equipment, digitalization, and improved energy efficiency. Further, we are working on introducing only one shift in schools and keep children longer in the schools by providing not only classical instruction, but also extracurricular activities that are of interest to the pupils. The next goal is to increase the motivation of our teachers. They are the most important part of the educational process. We have reached an agreement with the teachers for higher salaries up to 60% over the next 3 years, and they will receive much more training that has been available to them so far. We are also working on changes to the inclusion model, so the students with disabilities receive the right attention and exactly what they need so that they too can integrate even more and more easily into social processes. Another goal is to build a better higher education, which in a few years I hope will be interesting for some of your young people, just like some of our students get their education in your country or in other countries. I'm honored that in my mandate as a minister, we have established a national coordinating body for higher education reform that will work on all the aspects of the higher education, including its internalization. Dear ladies and gentlemen, allow me to draw your attention to the basic aspects on which our, if I may say so, new education in Macedonia lies upon. They are precisely equality, equal access, and the fair chance for everyone to be educated under the same terms as everyone else. The disparity in the accumulated knowledge of the different social groups in my country is evident, and it is due to a number of reasons, actually factors that we are trying very hard to eliminate or rather to neutralize their influence. There are differences in the knowledge of children from different regions of North Macedonia. There are differences in knowledge among students belonging to different ethnic communities. Difference in knowledge also can appear as a consequence of the social status of the families of the children, and so on and so on. We are confident that by optimizing the school network, we will eliminate the first factor. Children from rural areas, or 12% of all students in North Macedonia, will be transferred to central schools where socialization is more present, where there is greater competitiveness, and where schools are better organized and equipped. For children from socially vulnerable families, we provide special rights to financial support and stimulation for education. We are working on raising the awareness among the part of the population about the importance of education and about the greater commitment to school, and with new and strengthened legislation, we will prevent segregation and any kind of discrimination in education. And I must say, in all of our activities, we are not alone. We have a lot of support from the international community, from the European Union, from the United States, and organizations such as World Bank, but also from a number of countries that we have representatives here at this summit today. I can't help but mention the Turkish National Cooperation and Coordination Agency TICA, as for many years we have counted among the sincerest supporters of Macedonia educational institution, and I am thankful for that. I appreciate it when everyone who can afford it, in addition to putting things in order in one's yard, help their friends to do so as well. Such global humanity only leads to building a better world and a better place for all of us to live in. I think it is a view shared by all of us. Correct me if I am wrong. If I'm not wrong, then let's continue to develop education together through innovation. Let's rise further the standards of quality, and let's lend a hand to everyone to achieve those standards. Let's push boundaries to knowledge and opportunities for all our citizens. Education is the passport to the future. It provides for understanding of differences, mutual respect and tolerance. It unites and builds peace. But unity and peace, it seems, are sorely lacking in the present day. And hatred and a desire for destruction prevail. Let's change that as a leaders through continual self-improvement and greater investment in better education for all. I believe that the recommendation that will emerge from this summit will be beneficial to all participants. My government will certainly take them into account when formulating further national policies. I wish you all the best from my beautiful hometown of Skopje. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vesla Janeska from North Macedonia. She contributes our panel today with her experience in the Balkan context, Macedonia, North Macedonia. I'm very much thankful to her insightful speech. Now, we return to different geography, the very critical country in South Asia, which is Indonesia. And our second speaker panels today is Honorable Minister of Primary and Secondary Education of Indonesia, Dr. Abdul Muti. Welcome to our panel, Dr. Muti. And I would like to hear, what's your perspective and experience of Indonesia with regard to creating a fair and equitable society for a sustainable future through education? Please, the floor is yours.
His Excellency Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President of the Republic of Turkey, His Excellency Professor Dr. Yusuf Tekin, Minister of National Education of the Republic of Turkey, His Excellency Professor Pierre Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology of the Zambia, Her Excellency Professor Vesna Javenska, Minister of Education and Science of the Republic of North Macedonia, Her Excellency Dr. Jarso Malejalah, Minister of Education of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Professor Dr. Birol Agun, President of Turkish Ma'arif Foundation, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning from Kupang, East Nusa Tenggara, one of the provinces in the eastern part of Indonesia. First of all, apologize for not attending this very important conference in person because of so many activities and agenda that already set as part of my activities as newly appointed Minister of Primary and Secondary Education of the Republic of Indonesia. Secondly, allow me to thank you for the opportunity to address this distinguished gathering at the Istanbul Education Summit. Although we are meeting virtually, the global community's shared commitment to building a more equitable and sustainable future through education bring us together as if we were in the same room. As the newly appointed Minister of Primary and Secondary Education in Indonesia, it is an honor for me to join this high-level meeting today and share our nation's vision and priorities for education as we look forward the future. The theme of this summit, Education for a Fair and Equitable Society for a Sustainable Future, resonate deeply with the direction of our new government and with the foundational principle enshrined in our Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, in Indonesia, our vision for education is quality education for all. This vision reflects the ideals and aspiration of our nation founding fathers, as well as the current government commitment to strengthening human resource development. As the largest archipelago in the world with over 270 million people, Indonesia is blessed with incredible diversity. Our challenge as well as our opportunity is to ensure that every child, regardless of where they live, their economic background, or their cultural identity, has access to the tools they need to thrive in the global society. To this end, our current education priorities are aligned with the global vision of a fair and equitable society, and we are actively pursuing policies to support that goal. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to share the key programs and initiatives the newly established Minister of Primary and Secondary Education in advancing to support quality education for all. First, in Indonesia, we believe that education must go beyond academic achievement to shape the character of our youth. A strong, resilient society is built on strong values. This is why we are prioritizing the strengthening of character education, including improving competencies in guidance counseling, character development, and creating environment that support holistic growth. One of the key initiatives in this area is providing nutritious whole meals to ensure that children not only learn but also grow in an environment that support their physical and emotional well-being. Secondly, a core focus on our new government is ensuring that every Indonesian child has access to at least 13 years of education that lasts from early childhood education to senior higher education. This initiative guarantees that children from all walk of life, from urban centers to remote village, have the same educational opportunities. Thirdly, we recognize that the quality of education can only be as strong as the quality of our educators. Teachers are the heart of education system and their role is central to building a fair and equitable society. Therefore, we are focusing on improving teachers' qualification, providing continuous professional development opportunities, and ensuring better welfare through certification program. This will help teachers gain the tools they need to empower students and create meaningful, lasting education. Fourth, we believe that the future of our world depends on the strength of our education system in areas like literacy, numeracy, and science and technology. In Indonesia, we are keen to strengthen these areas as early childhood education and create specialized centers of excellence in schools across the country. Furthermore, we are committed to enhancing vocational education and technical training program to equip students with the skill necessary for future careers in rapidly changing world. Fifth, in regard to access to education, we acknowledge that it is not just about teachers and curricula, it also requires adequate infrastructure. We are actively planning and working closely with the local government to improve school facilities, especially in rural areas, to ensure that our students have the best environment to learn. Last but not least, education in Indonesia is also about preserving our linguistic and cultural heritage while embracing global connectivity. We are working to elevate our national language, Bahasa Indonesia, while also protecting and promoting regional languages. In addition, we are planning to enhance literacy programs to ensure that every student can read, write, and communicate effectively both within our nation and an increasingly interconnected world. As we focus on these national priorities, we are mindful that education is not an isolated effort. It is part of global movement towards sustainable development. Our commitment to Sustainable Development Goal 4 to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for all guides our action and policies. But achieving this goal requires collaboration and shared responsibility. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that by working together, exchanging ideas, sharing best practices, and supporting each other through this summit, we can accelerate progress toward a fairer, more equitable global society. We must work together across borders, cultures, and sectors to create an education system that empowers every child and prepares them to build a sustainable future. The theme of this summit, Education for a Fair and Equitable Society for a Sustainable Future, is not just a slogan, it is a call for action. Let us rise to that call with determination, compassion, and a shared commitment to the future of our children. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdul Muti from Indonesia. It was very insightful speech indeed from the context of South Asia, and it is very, very much also teaching to share what is really important in creating a fair and sustainable society through the education, as the theme of the 24th Istanbul Education Summit already highlighted. And this is why we really value to discuss the social aspects of the education as well. From South Asia now, we will go to African context, which is also very much critical for all of us. And the next speaker is from Liberia, Minister of Education of Republic of Liberia, Dr. Jarsomali Jalla. Welcome to our panel this morning, Ms. Jala, and the floor is yours. We are looking forward to hearing from your perspective from the Liberia. Please.
Greetings from Liberia. Dr. Bira Ogun, President of the Turkish Marif Foundation, Honorable Yusuf Tikin, Minister of National Education of the Republic of Turkey, members of the Turkish Marif Foundation, esteemed colleagues and educators, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a privilege to be with you today as I deliver the keynote at this year's Istanbul Education Summit 2024, a gathering that embodies the hope and resolve needed to tackle the pressing challenges of our time. The theme of this year's summit, Education for a Fair and Equitable Society for a Sustainable Future, is both timely and imperative. Education has always been the cornerstone of human progress. It empowers individuals, fosters critical thinking, and drives innovation. Yet, as we face growing inequalities, environmental crises, and social unrest, it is clear that the way we educate must evolve to meet the demands of a changing world. The challenges we face in ensuring quality education are vast, and they demand collaboration, innovation, and commitment from all of us. It is for this reason that I am particularly excited to be a part of this year's Istanbul Education Summit. For the past 4 years, this summit has become an essential platform for sharing insights, solutions, and strategies that can address the most urgent educational challenges of our time. With over 50 countries represented by a diverse group of thought leaders, policymakers, and educators, we have the unique opportunity to come together and explore how education can drive social change and contribute to achieving the global goals set by the United Nations. A fair and equitable society begins with the access to quality education for all. However, millions of children and adults worldwide are denied this basic right due to poverty, gender discrimination, conflict, and systemic inequities. Addressing these barriers is not just a moral imperative, it is a foundational requirement for global stability. As a collective body, we must prioritize universal access to education. Our policies and investments must focus on ensuring that every child, regardless of their socioeconomic background, gender, or geographic location, can access quality education. Our curricula must be inclusive and reflect the diversity of our societies, teaching respect for different cultures, gender, perspectives to build empathy and reduce prejudice. We must empower teachers by providing training, compensation, and resources to address the challenges of teaching in diverse and under-resourced environments. We must see education as a tool for sustainability. In recent years, we've been experiencing unprecedented climate crisis, a threat to our future. Education equips young minds with the knowledge, skills, and values needed to combat environmental degradation and promote sustainable practices. Moreover, environmental education must be integrated into school curricula worldwide, teaching students not just the science of climate change, but also practical solutions and the importance of stewardship. Furthermore, education systems should emphasize interdisciplinary learning, preparing students to tackle complex global challenges holistically. In this era of rapid technological advancement, digital tools can serve as a bridge to equity, However, they can also widen the gap if not managed responsibly. To harness technology's potential, we must invest in digital infrastructure, particularly in underserved regions. We must teach digital literacy, ensuring that learners can critically navigate and contribute to the digital world. And we must address the ethical implications of artificial intelligence and technology, preparing students to use these tools for the greater good. A fair and equitable society for a sustainable future cannot be achieved through education alone, but it is impossible without it. This summit must serve as a platform for collaboration, innovation, and actionable commitments. Let us advocate for increased funding in education, especially in marginalized communities. Collaborate across borders to share resources, best practices, and innovations. Commit to lifelong learning as a societal value, recognizing that education does not end with formal schooling. Ladies and gentlemen, the power of education lies in its ability to transform individuals, communities, and societies. By prioritizing fairness, equity, and sustainability in our educational systems, we are not just preparing students for the future, we are shaping the future itself.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jersey. Male Jalla from Liberia, Minister of Education of Republic of Liberia, from very rich perspective from African context, from leading practitioners as a politician, as being responsible for educational policy. I would like to thank all of our distinguished guests and panelists today. They really contributed to our International Istanbul Education Summit of 2024. We are very much grateful to their contribution. Minister of Education of North Macedonia, Dr. Vesna Jarowska, Minister of Primary and Secondary Education of Indonesia, Dr. Abdul Muti, and Minister of Education of Liberia, Dr. Jarso Mele Jella. To repeat and summarize what we have discussed and what we have learned from this high panel of 24 Istanbul Education Summit, briefly, just a few remarks for closing for this season. I think we have to value not only physical environment of education, but we have to emphasize creating a fair society indeed, and to be peaceful, to create a peaceful living environment in our national context. For a society to be truly fair and equitable, it must provide, of course, first and foremost, equal access to quality of education for all, as has been emphasized by the UN documents such as 2030 document for a sustainable future, which has been widely shared for international community as Mara Foundation. We also very much emphasize sustainability, fairness, and stability in societies through education. That's very clear. This includes creating a fair society, includes not only access to schools, but also the creation of inclusive and diverse learning environments as well. A sustainable future requires a generation that is not only skilled in traditional fields like math and science, but also be versed in environmental stewardship, social justice, and human rights. So we have to, that's the second aspect, recognize the importance of raising what we call good citizens or responsible actors of tomorrow's world. And this is only possible through emphasizing these values in education. Second, or third, quality of education is important, but government support for disadvantaged groups, for supporting them to access to education is also very vital for equitable, fair society. Technology is a key factor, as has been just emphasized by the Minister of Education of Liberia, underlined, and I agree with her, really, I mean, greatly. Yes, it is a great equalizer in some way, but the structure of opportunity is not equally disturbed. So everybody cannot have access to equal internet opportunities all over the world. And the structure of this inequality in learning, in using of technology, which is very critical, also create or grow already existing inequalities in society. So we must take care of that. Access to technology also a key for reaching out quality of education as a key factor. Furthermore, sharing good practices, as we have just discussed today, is also important. We learn from different contexts of how governments deal with quality education, creating a fair society, sustainable future for tomorrow's generation, from the Western context, from the Balkans, from North Macedonia. From Asia, we have listed Minister of Education of Indonesia, Dr. Abdul Muti, and from the perspective of Africa, from Minister of Education of Liberia. Well, these are from diverse background, from different perspective and experience. We understood that this is critical to share good practice to raise all the level of education in the world. Simply because we live in a global world. We live in an interconnected world. Connectivity is key, good or bad, but this is the reality. And especially the issue of environment, global warming, which really create a lot of new challenges for societies all over the world. So we have to raise our new generation with the creating awareness of how to live in peace with not only other human beings to create the peace in the world, but also living in peace with the nature, environment, for sustainability for our young generation and for our tomorrow world. I think this is very much critical to understand, and we have to, in our discussions and our curriculum study especially, include all these aspects in our educational policies. And as the Marif Foundation, we are very much aware in our curriculum development program how to really teach new generation to this kind of new skills, but also being a responsible, good citizens in the world, to build a world where fairness, equity, and sustainability are provided. And this is not provided by itself, and all responsible actors, including policymakers, academics, and school leaders and education leaders, must face these realities and prepare for tomorrow ourselves as in terms of mentality and policies, but also in the values of our schools all over the world. Thank you very much. This is the end of the first panel of a high-level meeting, 24th Istanbul Education Summit, and we will continue other planned panels after a few minutes. Thanks a lot.